then it. Aha.
Oh, start rolling with this. Y buenas noches. No, buenas tardes. Todavía hay luz. There's still light. Although, wow, I got a storm that looks, this is one of those tantalizing storms. The trees are doing this.
It's coming.
Yeah. And do you think I'm going to see one drop of rain? Una gotita? No, nada. I probably won't see anything. You guys will probably get it.
Yeah, we had our rain this afternoon. This is how it rains up here. It's clear in the morning or cloudy.
Temporada del monzón, ¿qué puedo decirles? What can I tell you? This is what we lived through, right? Okay. A ver, entonces, bueno, primero, la primera pregunta fue, the first question was, what about signups? Because, you can be a little lazy with this, because, you got the, hay tiempo, there's time. Yeah. Fall session does not start until September 12th because we've got a late Labor Day. Official Labor Day is September 5th, I believe. That is the Monday.
Yeah, that's right.
That seems to me a little bit late. Isn't that a little late in the calendar? Es tarde, no?
The first Monday.
Yeah.
Right.
So first class on a Monday is the 12th. So that means 13, 14, el 14. 14th will be the first day of class. Now, the thing to keep in mind again about fall, and most of you know this, but maybe you're not thinking about it, Scottsdale splits fall into 2 sessions. So keep in mind, if you only sign up for the first fall session, that takes you September 12th through about Halloween time. And if you want the back end of that, you need to register yet a second time, because there's a second fall, and the second fall takes you from November 1st through around the holiday time. I don't remember the exact end date. It'll be 20 something,
Like middle of December.
18th, 20th, something like that. 22nd, maybe. Depende. Kind of depends on how the calendar for us falls. I haven't looked at that yet. So, para que sepan, so you know. There are actually 2 registrations if you want all of the fall. Okay. Vale, bien. Y vamos a ver, hay información que me envió Karen. Karen sent me some information, which I'm going to show to you guys because this ties in so beautifully with our last subject. A bunch of it. Sí, el jardín botánico del desierto, Desert Botanical Gardens, aquí en la ciudad de Phoenix. No está en la ciudad de Scottsdale, está en la ciudad de Phoenix. There is a big program of fall events, and miren. Primero, lotería, wow, lotería. Hay un evento en octubre para la lotería. Hay un evento para Día de Muertos al fin de octubre hasta, no, es el fin de octubre, el 99 y hasta el 30. Okay, so Día de Muertos, you kind of expect that. Esto es nuevo. Wow, this is a new one. Guelaguetza. Y me pregunté, ¿qué es Guelaguetza? What is Guelaguetza? Yo no sabía lo que es Guelaguetza. Guelaguetza is coming up really before any of the other ones. El 1 de octubre y el 2 de octubre. So I did a little bit of studying up on Guelaguetza, un poquito, y vamos a ver, I have a little fun thing to show you. Guelaguetza es una celebración y Guelaguetza aquí en Phoenix, en los jardines botánicos de Phoenix. Es el 1 de octubre, pero en realidad no. in real life, Guelaguetza is something that happens in a very specific part of Mexico, en Oaxaca. There are folks who come from other parts of Mexico that normally don't celebrate this to have fun with it. It would be kind of like us going to maybe an Oktoberfest in, I don't know, Chicago. Or like, like we know what Oktoberfest is, but maybe it's not a big deal where we live. Well, Guelaguetza sí es una celebración en México, pero es algo muy específico, es una celebración específica en Oaxaca. I've got a little something to show you about it because es un video muy entretenido. This is a very entertaining video. And actually, I'm going to give you a link to a longer video since we were going to have a couple of weeks off. Sí, esta clase es la última del verano. This is the last class of summer. So since you have time off, I will send you a link to a longer item. And this is one of those things that people go to in Mexico who live in other parts of Mexico where, they're like surprised. Wow, look at this cultural event, because unless you live in Oaxaca, you may not have grown up with this. Okay, para que sepan. Normalmente ocurre en julio. Normally, in this area, it really happens in July. So I'm sure we do it in October because who would come here in July? Let's do an outdoor event in Phoenix in July. Nadie va a asistir. Nobody's going to attend, Okay, para que sepan. So you get an idea of what it is like. It is very specific to this region. And it unites a number of, I guess what would be for us in the United States counties in that area of Oaxaca. Apparently all the little dances and things are a little bit different. Guelaguetza. Una prevista, a little preview. Wow, Ciudad de Oaxaca. This is not really some little podunk event. Look at that. Miren el estadio. Check out that stadium. Es enorme.
Guelaguetza es regalo, es un intercambio que se da en las comunidades cuando hay una fiesta.
Venimos de parte de la familia del novio con mucho cariño, con mucho respeto. Traemos estos presentes esperando que sean de su agrado. Permítanos pasar estas flores y esta vela que simboliza la fe y la luz con la cual se han de guiar nuestros hijos.
En pleno siglo XXI, solo en Oaxaca hacemos alarde de nuestros orígenes.
Ok. Un empresario que va a hablar de la celebración del festival. This is something that is rooted very much in indigenous, as you can probably tell from the costumes you will see. The culture from this comes is really not los españoles, los conquistadores. No, it's not from the Spanish conquistadores. Part of the culture is really from the indigenous culture. Okay, and very specifically from Oaxaca.
Hablamos nuestras lenguas, nos vestimos como se vistieron nuestros antepasados.
La Guelaguetza espectáculo es lo que nosotros vemos en el auditorio con el nombre de Guelaguetza también. Esto que es un conjunto de grupos que se traen del interior del estado para representar la parte tradicional de cada una de sus comunidades, como son la danza, la cultura y algunas tradiciones y leyendas.
So when they show delegaciones here, perdón, what they're showing is that people really come from the various surrounding towns that comprise this whole region of Oaxaca. And it's not just Oaxaca, la ciudad, no es solamente la ciudad de Oaxaca, sino todas las regiones alrededor de Oaxaca. So this is about all of that area surrounding the city of Oaxaca, and every little town, or well, not every little town, but every smaller region sends its delegation with their specific indigenous culture.
Estoy en un desfile de delegaciones, eso es conocido como una calenda tradicional. No se pueden imaginar la energía de la gente, este es un ambiente de fiesta, pero total. Creo que nunca he visto algo parecido. Cada delegación trae su propia vestimenta, su propia música. Hoy nos llovió y la gente no se ha movido, se amontonan porque es un espectáculo que creo que no tengo palabras para describirlo. Tienen que vivirlo.
You have to live it.
Una guelaguetza que no solamente se queda también en las dos presentaciones de los 2 lunes del cerro, sino que abrazamos a todo el mes de julio con más de 80 eventos culturales, eventos artísticos, gastronómicos, artesanales, y que bueno, damos la oportunidad a que oaxaqueños y turistas nacionales e internacionales vengan a Oaxaca y sean parte de esta experiencia.
Oaxaca is beautiful. The people are lovely. The culture is fantastic. It's a rich heritage here, and I'm so impressed with how alive the culture is and how the people embrace their history. And it makes it come alive for those of us as tourists.
Y el día de hoy es la fiesta indígena más importante de América. Punto. No hay una fiesta indígena de.
She says it's the most important indigenous festival in the country. Okay.
De esta envergadura, de este tamaño, de este significado.
Están haciendo únicamente es trasladar una síntesis de lo que ellos a diario viven en su comunidad, son vivencias diarias. Entonces, de alguna manera, al transmitirlas, ellas no las están fingiendo, sino únicamente están sintetizando parte de su actividad. Y yo creo que esa es la parte emotiva que hace que el público se interconecte con ellos y haya esa parte de fusión entre el público y el bailarín, ¿no? Porque está recibiendo realmente la esencia de la comunidad.
Tenemos cerca de 17 etnias que están conviviendo en todo lo que es el estado.
La guelaguetza representa para todos los oaxaqueños el hecho de hermanarnos.
No había encontrado este sentido de pertenencia y sentido de orgullo racial en ningún lado. He visitado muchos lugares de la República y jamás había encontrado algo así. A uno lo contagia.
Turista de Querétaro. So people come from Querétaro down to Oaxaca. You know, people from different tourists aren't just from America, just from California, right? They are from all over different parts of Mexico as well.
Ser parte de esta fiesta y desde el escenario y demostrarle a toda la gente que viene a vernos lo que somos y lo que es Oaxaca, pues es un orgullo.
El espectáculo es la mitad está allá, pero la otra mitad es la gente que lo ve todo.
Y Flor de Piña. This dance is called Flor de Piña. And if you see, yeah, Flor de Piña, flower of the pineapple. And the ladies actually dance with a pineapple, but it is the wildest thing. It's like this big line dance. And when the women all come up en masse, I'll send a little link for you to see this dance. La danza de Flor de Piña. The crowd goes wild that they all just come up in a straight line. And it is, wow, what a hoot. It is Flor de Piña.
Yo creo que voy a volver más veces. Estoy realmente conmovido, estoy en shock. Estos días que he estado por acá, nunca me imaginé que la Guelaguetza fuera algo tan maravilloso.
Me llevo el corazón lleno de cultura mexicana, lleno de lo que son los oaxaqueños, y es un regalo. De verdad me considero una afortunada de haber podido venir y presenciarlo.
Es un espectáculo maravilloso, o sea, una riqueza de colores, de sonidos, de visuales, de música. Lo disfruté muchísimo.
La Guelaguetza es magnífica. Yo invitaría a todo mundo a que viniera.
México extraordinario. Conócelo más y sé.
Okay. Y eso es. That gives you a little idea of what that is about. So I would imagine if you were to attend our Phoenix version, they will probably put up some of those dances and for sure the food. So it's a, gastronomy, la gastronomía, la danza, sí, el arte, un poquito de todo, a little bit of everything. So if you're interested in the Guelaguetza, that is something brand new to me that I had not seen information about. And even it was sort of interesting to me to hear the los mexicanos, cuando escuché a los mexicanos de las hablando de toda la celebración, when I heard the native Mexicans speaking about that they found it very moving for them as well. So it's something that even people from different parts of Mexico come down to sample. So, perhaps you'll get a little taste of it here in Phoenix if you choose to go to that. Okay. Eso es. And I'm going to give you some links to longer videos that'll show you more about Guelaguetza. Okay. Muy bien. ¿Qué vamos a hacer esta noche? Esta noche vamos a trabajar principalmente con become. I gave you some prompts to talk about become and some pictures, and we can maybe share some of these, but we're going to preview that with kind of a stepping in and reviewing. Why the heck do we have all these different verbs? Oh my God, why is it so hard? ¿Por qué es tan difícil? Pues, ok, a ver. Simplemente es distinto. The simple answer is that it is just different. They have different ways in Spanish of talking about this idea. And actually there are two things we use a lot in English. One is to get a certain way and one is to become. But there are different verbs that are used, and actually even more than you see in this cheat sheet that accompanied the video that I had sent you. Y así vamos a repasar un poquito y hablar un poquito de cómo se usa, how we use this, because for us, it might be a little bit more difficult to get used to it. And there are a few verbs that are not on this list, but we'll talk just very briefly about what some of those are so that para que sepan, so you guys know. Convertirse. Convertirse. Una manera de decir become. Es como decir en inglés. Tenemos una palabra inglesa que es convert, ¿no? Convert. If you convert something, it means you're changing it up. Okay. People sometimes religiously convert from one religion to another. And convert in English indica un cambio, right? All of these things indicate a change of some kind, but they don't just have one verb to say become. Convertirse es el primer verbo. Here's our first verb. Y principalmente se usa en pretérito. I think you hear this much more in pretérito in the past tense because somebody became something. Y bueno, el ejemplo que tienen aquí, Meghan se convirtió en princesa al casarse con Harry. Sí. Convertirse indica, pues bueno, es un verbo flexible. This is kind of flexible. It can indicate kind of a natural change, but kind of a big change. Something profound, something important. You may or may not have worked somehow to get to this point, or it could be a natural evolution. Okay. Convertirse es muy común. This is a super common verb. Okay, otro ejemplo. Después de estudiar por 10 años, Juan se convirtió en médico. After studying for 10 years, Juan became a doctor. Okay, this is something that was a natural progression from his work to attain this job, attain this position, this stature. See, médico. Después de la muerte de Chávez, Maduro se convirtió en el presidente de Venezuela. After Chávez's death, Maduro became president of Venezuela. Whether he was just proclaimed that or actually worked towards that, no importa tanto, doesn't really matter so much. Convertirse indicates a natural progression from one position or one state into another. Okay. But notice we generally use convertirse with a noun. And we need en, see, en princesa into a princess, en médico into a doctor, en el presidente into president. Okay, vale. Convertirse. Hacerse. También muy común. Oh, qué fácil. Hacerse. You guys are familiar with this word hacer. Hacer, to make or do. Hacerse literalmente es como reflexivo. To make oneself. Hacerse often is used with something where you work toward a goal. Quite frequently. Hacerse is also used quite frequently for religion. You know, we might say, think se convirtió would be the most common with, you can use se convirtió with religion, but hacerse en pretérito, in preterite, is often used for religion. It just is, ¿sí? Una persona, por ejemplo, mi primo se hizo católico. My cousin became a Catholic. El esposo de mi prima, el esposo de mi prima se hizo católico. My cousin's husband became a Catholic, ¿sí? El hijo de José se hizo budista. Became a Buddhist. Okay, hacerse is often used with religion, often, but it's got a different, longer verb that is very much like hacerse, and that's llegar a ser. Llegar a ser literally is arrive to be. Hacerse and llegar a ser are often used more frequently with things where you really have to work toward a goal, where somebody puts in a great deal of effort to become something else. Okay. Carlos salió del campo, estudió en la universidad y llegó a ser ingeniero, ¿sí? Un ingeniero. He came from the country, he went to the university, became an engineer. He had to go through a lot of steps. So, hacerse and llegar a ser often indicate that there were many steps and a great deal of work and background effort to not just evolve like in convertirse, but to become something. Okay. Después de 10 años de duro trabajo, Edison llegó a ser el dueño de 3 empresas. After 10 years of hard work, Edison, qué nombre, became the owner of 3 companies. You know, he didn't just inherit this. Yeah, he did not just inherit this. He didn't just luck out and somebody gave it to him in the will, right? Right? Llegó a ser. Y también aquí Sandra se hizo la mejor estudiante debido a su esfuerzo y dedicación. Sandra became the best student. Okay, we could use as an absolute synonym, completely interchangeable, Sandra llegó a ser la mejor estudiante. So, hacerse and llegó a ser, llegar a ser are pretty interchangeable. And in many situations, convertirse, for many people, might be used interchangeably with hacerse and llegar a ser. But hacerse and llegar a ser always indicate for sure effort. Convertirse may or may not indicate effort. Hacerse indicates work that got you to that goal. Llegar a ser indicates work was done, substantial work to get you to that goal. Okay? Not that somebody just slipped into this or lucked out. Volverse. En cambio, on the other hand, volverse, volverse indicates often a rather rapid kind of change, not necessarily something that, you know, it might not have taken years and years and years, and often will not indicate that work was put into this. Now, depending on the region you're from, I have heard some Mexicans use volverse with, you know, él se volvió jefe, he became the boss. But usually somebody has to work a long way to get to boss. So I don't hear people using se volvió jefe all that much. Maybe in some regions it is. So apparently even in the Spanish-speaking world, there is a little disagreement on that. Pero por lo general, generally, volverse is seen as a rather rapid or quick or sudden change, something that is profoundly different. But they didn't necessarily bust a gut to get there. Okay, so Miguel ganó la lotería y se volvió millonario. You might hear somebody say, se volvió millonario. They became a millionaire like overnight, quickly. But se volvió is not going to indicate work. You can also legitimately plug into that same sentence, Miguel ganó la lotería y se hizo. Oh, no, perdón. We would not have the lotería in there. Miguel trabajó por 20 años y se hizo millonario. Miguel worked for 20 years and became a millionaire. But that se hizo millonario means 20 años. Wow, he worked a long time to get to that point of saying, soy millonario. I'm a millionaire. Se volvió would indicate, wow, it happened in the blink of an eye. It happened suddenly, quickly. Not necessarily that he put a lot of effort into it. Okay. Volverse can be used with descriptions like humilde, humble. You know, somebody who's not all show-offy, right? Después de perder toda su fortuna, after losing his whole fortune, oh, very sudden, very quick, unexpected, Alex se volvió humilde. He became humble. He went from having a whole fortuna, que tenía fortuna, had a fortune, se volvió humilde. If he lost it all, he became humble, and it happened kind of fast. So happened kind of fast is something that is indicated, implied with this verb volverse. Después de ganar la lotería, or you could have, después de ganar la lotería, after winning the lottery, again, see, something quick, fast, winning the lottery, se volvió arrogante. Wow, he became pretty full of himself, arrogant, yeah. But something had happened because of like a very quick, sudden change, a sudden change. Volverse indicates a sudden change. Se volvió sordo. Después del accidente, Santiago se volvió sordo. After the accident, Santiago became deaf. There's a different word sometimes that people use with this word deaf, sordo as well. Se quedó sordo, but se volvió would indicate a quick physical change. Quick. Por el accidente, on account of the accident, okay? Santiago se volvió ciego. Santiago became blind. Okay, so volverse indica un cambio bastante rápido. It indicates a change that's pretty fast. Okay. One of the prime words that you often hear with se volvió, became, is se volvió loco. And somebody went crazy. Decimos en inglés, somebody went crazy. Like they just flew off the handle and like went totally boom, you know? Yeah, se volvió loco. Volverse is used a lot with loco because, you know, somebody goes wildly crazy. That usually indicates a sudden change. Okay. But notice we can use se volvió with a description: arrogante, sordo, deaf, ciego, blind, con millonario, a noun, we can use it with humilde. Okay. Hacerse, llegar a ser, convertirse. You generally use those more with nouns. Somebody became something else. Or this animal became a more mature version of that animal because of some actual physical change the animal goes through. Okay, so convertirse, hacerse, llegar a ser, we use those more with nouns. And volverse we might use with nouns or descriptions, meaning adjectives. Ponerse, here's a question that came up from this week. What do I use ponerse with? Ponerse will not be used with nouns. Okay, ponerse, and you know ponerse to talk about putting on clothing or makeup or perfume or sunscreen, right? Putting something on your body. Okay, ponerse, that is what you're used to with ponerse. Pero ponerse con frecuencia con una descripción, with a description, with an adjective. We use ponerse with an adjective, okay? And then ponerse means became or got a certain way. Entonces, Ana se puso feliz porque pasó del examen. Descripción, feliz. We don't use this with a word like became the boss, became a lawyer, became an accountant. No, no. Ponerse we don't use with a noun, like a job. We use it with a description. Paula va a ponerse feliz cuando te vea. Paula's gonna, wow, she'll just She'll be bursting with happiness when she sees you. José se puso triste porque perdió el examen. Wow, José got real down in the dumps. Oh, he became sad. Yeah, he became sad because he flunked. Okay, tu madre va a ponerse triste cuando sepa lo que hiciste. Wow, your mom is going to get sad. She's going to become unhappy, very sad when she knows what you did. Mi hermana se puso brava porque usé su vestido. My sister got angry because I used her dress. And they use this word brava, which looks like brave, but it doesn't mean brave. Brava aquí es angry. You can plug in instead of brava, enojada. Enojada. Se puso enojada. You could even plug in molesta, annoyed, ticked off. Se puso molesta. Se puso enojada, se puso brava. All of these indicate a change in mood. A change in mood. Wilson, ¿qué nombre? Wilson se puso enfermo cuando caminó bajo la lluvia. He got sick, and it indicates kind of a sudden change again. Ponerse, like volverse, often is kind of a sudden change, kind of a 180, a real quick and sudden kind of change, just like volverse is. El café se puso frío. Wow, we can even use it to talk about a thing. The coffee got cold. Se puso frío. Después de un rato, after a while. So, these are a few of our words that can indicate many different things about become. Okay. A ver. Y para que sepan, so you know, we've also got, perdón, momento. ¿Dónde está? Busco. Okay. Para que sepan. So you know, those aren't the only ones. Oh, we're going to focus on those you saw. Pero para que sepan, so you know. Sometimes we even use quedarse. Quedarse, you learned as to stay in a place, right?
See?
Me quedé en casa. I stayed at home. Te quedas en casa este fin de. Are you staying home this weekend? Quedarse does mean to stay in a place, but it can, with a description, also mean become. Wow. Just to confuse you some more, para que sepan, so you know, we won't practice quedarse so much, but quedarse often talks about a permanent physical change. Okay, por ejemplo, we can also use this word sordo. Sordo, deaf, or ciego, blind, are often used with quedarse because those are profound physical changes. And once you go there, it's like, you're done. It's going to be that way forever, right? El pobre hombre se ha quedado paralítico. The poor man has become paralyzed. So quedarse is often used with a profound and serious physical change as a result of like some kind of accident, illness. Quedarse is often kind of a downer kind of thing. Se quedó, something permanent, but maybe not that big a downer. They use it, se quedó calvo. He became bald. It's a physical change. Calvo, bald, is a physical change. And it's profound. And it's not going to change in the near future. Once well, now, okay, maybe they have some treatments, but, por lo general es permanente. Yeah, kind of a permanent change. So quedarse is one we won't practice so much tonight, but do know that that is kind of hanging out there, dangling out there. And also, y también, donde, because this question came up earlier in the week. Wow, what about that verb? Transformarse. Wouldn't that be just easier to use? Because look, it looks like the English. Es como en inglés. Transform, right? Transform. It is followed by a noun, but you can't use transformarse with a description like you can with ponerse. No se puede, you cannot. So we're not, para que sepan, so there's kind of this wealth of verbs that can mean to become. And wow, why do they have so many? I can't really tell you why they have so many, but they do. Okay. Let's see if we can just plug some ideas plug some of these different verbs to say become into a sentence, and then we'll go to our fotos, okay, our prompts, which are much more free form. So we'll do kind of next level up here. And this is something I didn't send you ahead of time, para que sepan, but just so you know, they're going to give you the verb that might commonly be used so that you don't have to decide between all of these different become ideas. They'll plug in a verb and say, how would we say this idea? Okay. So we're going to use ponerse en número uno. Vamos a usar ponerse. We're going to use ponerse con enfermo. We're going to say, I got sick, and it has to be got sick because it's el año pasado. Okay. El año pasado en Caracas, last year in Caracas. How will we use ponerse with enfermo here? Y es difícil. This is hard because ponerse es muy irregular en el pretérito. This has to be preterite because if I got sick, it happened, like boom, right? It's an event-oriented thing. So it can't be imperfecto here.
Me puse.
Me puso.
Me puse. Me puse. Me puse enfermo. Me puse enfermo. Ponerse muy irregular. Me puse enfermo. If I change it from yo to mi hermano, my brother, it would be mi hermano se puso. If I change it to nosotros, it would be nos pusimos enfermos. We got sick. Nos pusimos enfermos. Okay? Vale. Me puse enfermo. I got sick. You are not going to hear people using me convertí en enfermo. No. You're not going to hear convertirse with that idea of enfermo. You're not, wow, yeah, ponerse. A description, enfermo, we're going to have, ponerse with the description, ponerse with an adjective. Okay, a ver. And now we're going to use volverse, because we've got loca. And we're talking about boom, wow, she does a 180. Julia. And it's en presente, it's going to be in present because cada vez que escucha a sus hijos gritando en la casa, every time she hears her kids yelling in the house. Presente.
I can see why.
Okay. Julia goes nuts. ¿Cómo se dice? Julia goes crazy en presente. It's present tense.
Se vuelve.
Se vuelve. Julia se vuelve loca cada vez que escucha a sus hijos gritando. Every time she hears her kids yelling. Okay. She goes nuts. Vale. Presente continuo. Okay. What that means is they would like it to be is getting old. Oh, your dad's getting old. And they want it to be hacerse. Oh, and notice hacerse with a description. Oh, Pops is getting up there in years. And they want it to be an ing. Haciendo. Su papá
Está
haciéndose.
Oh,
Or we can take that little se and we can put it someplace else. Instead of saying está haciéndose, we can take that se and shift it way up front and say, su papá se está haciendo viejo. Es como decir en inglés un poquito de, wow, your dad's getting up there in years. He's kind of getting old. He's aging. Siempre olvida las cosas. He always forgets stuff. And notice, this is not se le olvida. Just, it's something slips his mind. It's literally, he forgets stuff.
always. Yeah.
El
Can you
pobre, right?
that again? The second one that you said, not this Hacian, I can't even remember.
Se está.
Yeah.
With hacerse?
Yes. What's the second way to do it?
Okay. Se está haciendo viejo.
Okay.
Se in front of the conjugated verb, está.
Can you do it either way with it at
You
the
can
end?
do it either way.
Okay.
Los dos son correctos. Igualmente.
Okay.
Sí.
Are you sending us this, whatever this is, I hope? This page?
Perdón? Oh,
Are you-
yes, I will send you this. Sí, sí, sí.
Okay.
Sí, sí, claro, sí. Yeah, so you can ponder it. Sí. Because this takes some pondering. Yeah. So what we want to give you a feel for today is that, certain ideas will tend to use hacerse more. Certain ideas might use volverse more. Certain expressions will use ponerse more. Depende en la situación, en el contexto. It really all depends on the context and the meaning that you have. And it does take some time. And let's kind of drop the future because most of you aren't going to know future. Let's make it, let's just put it in presente. Let's just put it in plain present tense to make it easier for you. Leonardo y su hermano, and we're going to say they're becoming soccer players in the big leagues. And you don't get to the big leagues unless you work a long time. So we've got to pick a verb that indicates much work to get up to that level, right? Because you don't just like join a pro. See, de la Liga Española, you don't just join the pros in the pro football, pro soccer teams in the country just because you feel like it, right? Futbolista de la Liga Española. ¿Cómo se dice llegar a ser? And let's just put it in present tense. Leonardo y su hermano
Llegan
a ser. Now, you could sub in instead of llegar a ser, you could plug in instead Leonardo y su hermano se hacen futbolistas. They're becoming pros. They're becoming pro players. you can say se hacen. Hacerse could work equally well as llegar a ser in this context, because we're talking about a profession, a job where they worked very long time to get to this pro status. Okay, so I wouldn't have to use llegar a ser. I could choose instead to use hacerse. I could even use convertirse, theoretically, here, even though work is involved. I could. Es posible, it's possible. There's a certain amount of flexibility between convertirse en, hacerse, and llegar a ser. Although hacerse and llegar a ser usually indicate more work involved to get to a certain league or a certain level. Okay.
Excuse me, Marilyn.
Sí,
Can
sí,
we
sí,
just jump
dime.
up to the hacerse one? Could you, why would you not use ponerse?
With futbolista?
No, the previous one, where he's
Oh.
getting old.
Why could I
Because
not
that's kind
use?
of a condition, a physical condition. You wouldn't use volverse because it's not a rapid thing. Right.
Yeah, with viejo, old.
Because it's an adjective, so I would think you'd want to use ponerse or volverse.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, even though viejo is an adjective, growing old is not.
Right.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't use ponerse either, because that's usually with feliz or enfermo.
That's
or-
more temporary.
Es posible. You could. You could.
Okay.
You could. Es posible, it's possible. Some of these bleed into each other a little bit. Some
All
of
right,
them
thank
do.
you.
Some of them do, but not necessarily all. And sometimes it will indicate a change. So, por ejemplo, when I first saw these, I would see and it would be like, wow, this must be a rule. It must be a rule because I read it in a textbook. El hombre se hizo rico. He became rich. And they'd say, with rico, you use hacerse. Se hizo rico, right? But you know what? Not necessarily. Se hizo rico, yes, that's great. And yes, that's common. And yes, that's common if he worked all his life toward that goal. But if somebody just struck it rich, right? They inherited $1 million from long lost uncle. Yeah. It could be se volvió rico, right? It depends on how fast was that change. It might depend on how fast that change was. It might. And some things you just have to get used to it as this is the pattern you hear the most. Okay.
Well, I'm a rule follower, so this kind of stuff
sí.
just makes me crazy.
Es difícil. I know. Es difícil. It's hard. And you know what? These context, there are a lot of context. It's kind of loaded. The context is really, really loaded. So that's what makes this kind of difficult. So
Okay,
that's why we've got the photos. We're going to see, we're going to see with our photos how you might change things up or use different vocabulary or, just different possibilities. Okay. Vamos a ver aquí. Número 5. ¿Por qué? Triste, sad. Why do you get so sad when you hear that song, Maritza? Why do you get so sad? Presente, present tense, fácil, easy. Tú, you're talking to Maritza. Why do you get sad? ¿Por qué?
Te pones.
And we know we have to use ponerse. ¿Por qué te
Pones?
pones?
Okay, that's right.
¿Por qué te pones? ¿Por qué te pones tan triste? ¿Por qué te pones tan triste? Ponerse with a mood, un sentimiento, yeah, a feeling is really, really common. With descriptions, somebody gets a certain way, they become sad, they get sad. Okay, and now we've got an example of something with convertirse, and we're talking about an animal, and we're talking about a natural change that happens, over many months. Not necessarily work, but a natural progression. Yeah, a natural progression. So we're going to use convertirse en, and okay, we've got the word cachorritos. Cachorritos es puppies, baby puppies, baby puppies. Los cachorritos, and it's an IE stem change. Se
convierten.
Convierten. Se convierte, perdón, pretérito, I'm sorry, they want pretérito. Se convirtieron, sí, se convirtieron, it's kind of an irregular verb. Se convirtieron en perros. And notice we've got to have an en perros, into dogs. Los cachorritos se convirtieron en perros adulto muy rápido. The puppies turned into adult dogs. Aquí en inglés, you might say became dogs, or they turned into. Oh, that idea of turned into dovetails really, really nicely with that verb convertirse. Turn into. Yeah, turn into. That is a great way to look at convertirse. Okay.
Isn't adulto end with an S? Adultos?
Perros adultos, perros adultos, I would say adultos, sí, pero aquí dice adulto, perros adulto. No sé por qué. I don't know why they have that there. Okay. A ver. Now we're going to take a look at hacerse. Oh, and we're going to take a look at, this is something you should get used to. This is a chunk, which is just really common. Es muy común. To become friends with. Hacerse amigos. You could use convertirse en amigos. You could. It wouldn't be wrong, but probably the most common turn of phrase when you want to say people became friends is hacerse with amigos. So we're going to put this into pretérito, the past. Después de tantas peleas, after so many fights. Wow. Okay. That's an odd, yeah. Verónica y Ana se hicieron. Se hicieron grandes amigos. Grandes amigas. They became great friends. Se hicieron grandes amigas. Hacerse amigos is a chunk that people just use a lot. These people became friends. And just know that hacerse with amigos is, wow, lo normal. It's the usual thing. We've got to transformarse. So we're going to skip that one. That's a change in temperature. Let's make this not presente perfecto. We're just going to use pretérito, preterite. Mark Zuckerberg became famous. Became famous. And we're going to use hacerse.
Se hizo.
Se hizo.
Se hizo.
Mark Zuckerberg se hizo famoso, muy famoso, por ser uno de los creadores y fundadores de Facebook. Ahora Meta. Bien. Okay. Now, hacerse, well, you know, it wasn't, okay, I guess in the world of millionaires, it was kind of sudden, but it wasn't overnight. There was still work to be done. So he became this, and he did have to work to get to that stage. So yeah, became famous, hacerse, sí, se hizo muy famoso. Okay. You could also plug in equivalente, same thing. Mark Zuckerberg llegó a ser muy famoso, became famous. Llegó a ser also works with that. Se convirtió probably doesn't work as great. It's not too far from the mark, but se convirtió really wouldn't convey the number of years someone worked in development the way that llegó a ser indicates work through several years, or se hizo indicates work through the years. Okay. And now we've got an emotion, una emoción, un sentimiento enojada. ¿Sí? Ponerse. Cristina gets really mad when her cousin uses her makeup. Cristina, presente, fácil.
Oh,
Se pone.
Se pone muy enojada cuando su prima usa sus cosméticos. We talk about what generally happens when this sneaky event of her sneaking into her makeup happens. Okay, bien? Vale. So we've got a number of verbs. We won't use absolutely all of them tonight. We're going to focus on plenty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to focus on the 5 that you had the video on, and we're going to take a look at some of these. Okay. Convertirse en, volverse, ponerse, hacerse, llegar a ser. So let's take a look first at which ones we might be able to use interchangeably. Let's just look at the list of 5. And which ones in context might we be able to use interchangeably and not worry too much if I use this verb or the other?
Convertirse,
Hacerse, llegar a ser.
Hacer.
Maybe convertirse.
And maybe convertirse. Okay, vale, magnífico. Bien. So what's going to happen here is that these two, and well, what should I do with this? I'm going to put this in italics, but not underline it. And these will put into, yeah. Hacerse and llegar a ser are often interchangeable, equivalents, equivalentes, equivalents. Convertirse sometimes can be, sometimes, okay? But convertirse will not always indicate a great deal of effort, time, and work, okay? Like the puppies became grown-up dogs, okay? Puppies didn't really work at becoming adults, yeah? So convertirse might be used more to talk about your kid becoming an adult, yeah? A kitten becoming a grown-up cat, right? Bien, okay, where it's a natural progression, but you know, the cat doesn't work at becoming, the kitten doesn't work at becoming a cat. It just happens kind of naturally over time. Okay. Okay. Volverse is going to be this kind of a change. something that's kind of a 180 and about face, something that's very sudden, okay? Something that happens very, very, very quickly. Ponerse often can be pretty quick, but it's going to primarily pair up with descriptions, okay? With descriptions. And I think maybe what we're going to do is we're going to copy these over and put them in with some of our a ver. Ay, momentito. We'll change this a little different way. Let's just do a copy. And this is going to really look terrible, but we'll change it out. Okay. Vamos a ver. We're going to make this a more reasonable size. Okay. Bien, 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 bien. Wow. Wow. Okay. Ay, 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 ay. Momentito. Okay, let's see if we can get this into a better font, a better way. Algo mejor, momentito. Ay, no. Okay, a ver. Perdón. Sorry about that, guys. What I need to do is create a box and do this the right way. Okay. Ay, a ver, mejor. Okay. Almost. Now if I change it to font, it should, yeah, magically go into the right thing. Well, it's still not doing that. Okay. Oh, I see why. Puedo ver por qué. Mejor, mejor, mejor. Okay. Okay. A ver, muy bien. So that we can have these present in with our brains. Okay. Si hablamos de Elon Musk, vamos a hablar primero de Elon Musk. ¿Qué podemos decir? What might we say about Elon Musk? El señor Elon Musk.
Became a millionaire.
Yeah.
So
billionaire.
We could
Right.
use millonario to talk about him. We could use what else?
Se volvió loco.
Si hablamos de Elon, bien, si hablamos de Elon, y si me refiero, si me refiero a sus acciones en pelear con Twitter, ¿sí? Porque quería comprar Twitter pues, a ver, ok. Loco. ¿Cómo se expresa? How would we use that?
Se volvió loco.
Se volvió loco en su pelea con Twitter.
Sí.
Bien. Sí. Ok. Vale. Y con muchas personas. Yeah, I understand. Since I am not a Twitter user, I understand. He kind of goes off the rails on Twitter with people. Okay. Okay. ¿Qué más? What else might we say about him?
I said Elon Musk se puso feliz cuando ofreció comprar Twitter. Pero ahora ya no está feliz.
Ya no está feliz. He is no longer
happy.
Oh, pobre Elon. Tienes razón, sí. Ya no está feliz. ¿Sí? Ok. Vale, bueno, sí. Al principio, at first, al principio se puso feliz al hacer una oferta de comprar Twitter, ¿no?
Sí.
Pero ya no está feliz. Ok, bien. ¿Qué más? What other things might we use to say? And it might be different words.
I
might
said,
be profession. No, perdón.
oh, no, I was just going to say, Elon Musk se hizo un multimillonario después de muchos años de trabajo duro.
Sí, se hizo un multimillonario. Sí, después de trabajar con sus empresas. ¿Sí? Bien. Después de desarrollar, develop, after developing, después de desarrollar, after developing, sus empresas con SpaceX, con Tesla, con PayPal, ¿no?
Sí.
Primero con PayPal, sí, eso es. Ok, entonces se volvió loco, ¿sí? En los últimos meses, in the last couple months, ¿sí? Se puso feliz o se puso triste, depende, ¿sí? Se hizo millonario, fantástico. Ok, si hablamos, por ejemplo, si hablamos, cambiando de tema, changing our theme a little bit here, si hablamos de estos tres hombres, ay, a ver, no funciona. Vale, sí. ¿Quiénes son? No tienen que saber los nombres, pero ¿quiénes son?
No sé.
Jugadores de básquetbol.
Son jugadores de básquetbol, sí. Baloncesto, básquetbol, es igual. Sí, son jugadores de básquetbol. Son jugadores de básquetbol en un equipo de instituto o un equipo de colegio como Saguaro High, como Desert Mountain.
No.
NBA.
Nada de eso, no. Son jugadores con
NBA.
en el NBA. Son jugadores profesionales.
Sí.
Bien. Okay. What might we say about these guys? Estos tres hombres.
Well, I can say something. I thought that Devin Booker se puse irritado porque perdió la oportunidad de anotar, to score a basket. He looks.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking. He says, it didn't
Sí,
work.
okay. Se puso irritado. He got annoyed. Yeah.
Yep.
Sí. Es posible. So I want you to see there are many different things you might say. Sí. Depending on the idea you want to express. Okay. Vale. Sí. Y score con frecuencia se dice meter. Meter un gol. Meter is to put something into something else, and especialmente con basketball. You're really putting the ball in the net. So, después de meter un gol. Sí. Ok. Vale. Buena idea. Me gusta mucho. ¿Qué otra idea? What other idea might we say with these guys? They became teammates.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's true.
¿Cómo se dice teammates?
Yeah.
Team, equipo. Equipo. They became members of the same team. Ah, ¿cómo se dice they became members of the same team? ¿Cuál? Which of these might work with they became members of the same team? Miembros del equipo.
Convertir, I'd say.
Convertir, say.
Convertirse. Yeah, that probably makes more sense with teammates. Okay, you could say they se hicieron compañeros de equipo.
Okay.
Yeah, teammates, companions, but compañeros de equipo. Okay, es posible, sí. Pero se convirtieron, they became. That's something that they kind of grow into, kind of naturally. Okay, it is work, but you might hear convertirse with that. Se convirtieron en miembros del equipo Suns.
Oh.
¿Sí? Okay. Vale. Bien. Let's get a different photo. Vamos a practicar con otro ejemplo. Tenemos una foto de un gato y un perro. Ok. ¿Qué podemos decir de los dos animales? What could we say about these two animals?
La gatita se pone muy feliz cuando duerme con el perro.
Se pone muy feliz al dormir con el perro. El gatito se pone muy feliz al dormir con su amigo el perro. Bien. What other thing might we say?
I said, el gato se puso tranquilo cuando debajo de la oreja del perro.
Debajo de la oreja del perro, sí. Tranquilo también. Tranquilo. Chill, ¿no? Bien, excelente. ¿Podemos decir el gatito y el perro grande se hicieron amigos?
Sí. Sí.
Es posible. Se hicieron amigos. Se hicieron amigos. They became buddies. They became friends. Sí. Would we use llegó a ser to talk about these two animals? No. Llegó a ser, pues, quizás, maybe, if you want to indicate that after many years, they learned to live with each other, but that looks a little too contented. Okay, a ver, fantástico. Si hablamos de esto, if we talk about these people, ¿sí? Otra vez, vamos a usar, vamos a tener aquí esta lista muy cerca. Ok. Si hablamos de un grupo de personas, una persona específicamente del pasado aquí, el señor McCain, ¿qué podemos hacer, decir? What can we say about these three people? Or somebody in that group, alguien aquí en el grupo.
Harry and Meghan se pusieron feliz con Archie.
Se pusieron felices.
Felices. Oh, perdón.
Se pusieron felices o se ponen felices con su bebé. Sí, sí. Podemos decir, let's think of a natural progression. Podemos decir aquí, por ejemplo, Meghan y Harry se convirtieron en padres por primera vez.
Oh, see, they became.
Became parents. Se convirtieron en padres does a nice job of saying they evolved into this role in a natural way. Okay. I know having a baby is a lot of work, but yeah. Se convirtieron en padres, sí. Se ponen muy felices con su bebé, con su niño, con su hijo. Ok. Bien. Ok. ¿Qué podemos decir del señor Lincoln?
Se hizo presidente.
What ideas might we say about him?
Well, I know that this is wrong, but
Oh, don't say that.
Oh, Fred.
No lo digas. Don't say it. No lo digas.
buried in here is not only a little humor, but an opportunity for you to teach me something, okay?
Okay. Sí.
So, Presidente Lincoln fue al teatro ver la obra, pero no vio el fin porque, now here's the part that's screwy, okay? Porque se volvió muerto.
Oh, okay.
I know that can't be right.
Pues, no, but you're not too far off, Fred. So here's what I'm going to show you. This is something that is, wow, getting yourself dead, and you know, not choosing it, obviously, but dead is a pretty profound change, is it not? And in his case, of course, was a sudden thing, was profound, and it was a physical change. Yeah. What is generally used with that word muerto, se quedó muerto. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
Yeah. Certainly not hacerse, certainly not llegar a ser, because, you know, you don't work toward that. But yeah, se volvió. I can see why you picked that, because we didn't put quedarse in the mix. But with these changes, with these profound physical changes, like balding, like, you know, if your hair, you know how some people just turn gray overnight, that can happen. Yeah. We're going deaf, going blind, going lame. Yeah, a profound physical change, or in this case, death. Quedarse, that's your pick. But you wouldn't have known that because we didn't have that in the mix. Está bien. Okay, what else, however, could we say del pobre señor Lincoln? What else could we say? He became what?
Presidente. Se convirtió en presidente.
Okay, which one would we use as presidente?
Se hizo.
Se hizo presidente, o
se convirtió.
Llegó a ser. Llegó a ser presidente. Llegó a ser presidente because he worked for it. Now let's think briefly. Who's the guy who took over after Lincoln?
Johnson.
Yeah. Did he work long and hard thinking, I'm going to run for election?
No.
And not at that point. So to say that Johnson became president would be more like el señor Johnson se convirtió en presidente después de Lincoln. Because it's not like he really worked at it. It just happened to him. Like bad luck of the draw. Yeah.
Would you use volverse too?
Not with
no.
presidente. Why?
Okay. Oh,
no.
because presidente is a noun.
Yeah, volverse we use more with descriptions,
Okay.
more. It's
Yeah.
not like you can never use it with a noun, but more. How about y si hablamos del señor McCain?
Nice. He became a hero.
¿Qué podemos decir? What can we say about Mr. McCain? Y senador es senator.
Sí. Llegó a ser senador.
Llegó a ser senador, sí. Llegó a ser senador. Se hizo senador, bien, but not se puso senador. Not se puso, no. Llegó a ser candidato nacional.
Sí.
Sí, eso, bien. Ok, vamos a ver aquí. Vamos a cambiar de tema. Gimnastas. The gymnast girls. They're gymnasts. ¿Qué podemos decir? What can we say about these young ladies?
Las gimnastas.
Llegó a ser. Simone Biles llegó a ser GOAT.
La GOAT. Sí. La gimnasta más importante de todo el mundo. Sí. La mejor gimnasta. Sí. Ok. Entonces, ella trabajó muchísimo, ¿no?
Sí.
Para hacerse gimnasta, to make herself into a gymnast, she had to work very hard. Sí, llegó a ser la campeona. La campeona es champion. La campeona en el mundo de las gimnastas, ¿sí? La mejor gimnasta llegó a ser la mejor gimnasta de todo el mundo. Bien, sí, la GOAT, como se dice, greatest of all time. La mejor de todos los tiempos, ¿sí? Ok, y las chicas, all these girls, ¿podemos decir se hicieron amigas?
Sí.
Sí.
Podemos decir que se convirtieron en atletas de los Juegos Olímpicos. They became Olympic athletes. Sí. Se convirtieron en atletas de los Juegos Olímpicos. Sí. Bien. Se hicieron campeonas, sí, de los juegos gimnásticos. Ok, a ver. Y al fin, let's take these three real quickly. Estos tres.
Mine's crazy.
Bennifer. ¿Cómo se dice en inglés?
I was thinking this, Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck se volvieron amantes y se casaron de otra vez. In lovers, sort of, again.
Se convirtieron en amantes because, you don't really work towards, well, you do. Okay. Yeah. In real life, you do. Because that's what lasts. But, yeah. When we talk about the world of love, often se convirtieron en amantes. Se convirtieron en amantes, ¿sí? Se volvieron, sí, quizás, maybe, but, often volverse with more adjectives. So, se convirtieron en amantes, ¿sí? En una pareja, into a couple.
Oh.
¿Sí? Bien. Vale, bueno. ¿Qué podemos decir de Bitcoin? What could we say about Bitcoin?
Adios dinero.
Ok. Por ejemplo, un ejemplo aquí con Bitcoin. Bitcoin se convirtió en una moneda por todo el mundo, a kind of money.
Sí.
Quizás, bien, sí. We can't really use ponerse with this. Really, convertirse is one of the best things because it's a thing, yeah? So it didn't work to become something. Convertirse makes more sense. This is a thing, you know? Se convirtió en un método de acumular riqueza. Se convirtió en un método de adquirir la riqueza. Bien? A method of accumulating wealth. Can you really go out and buy a burger with Bitcoin? I don't know. Creo que no. I think not. Okay. Si hablamos de esta situación, this situation is.
That's easy.
And
Is this a boom, 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 boom change?
No.
Not really, no. Okay.
In stages.
In stages, it is. Is it a natural progression?
See?
Sí, okay. So really the best thing for this kind of thing is convertirse. ¿Sí? La oruga es caterpillar. La oruga se convirtió en
una mariposa.
Se convirtió en una mariposa. Exacto. Se convirtió en. We do need a little n. Se convirtió en una mariposa. Bien. We cannot use ponerse here. We cannot really use hacerse or llegar a ser. Convertirse is what you're going to use because it's a natural kind of change. Bien. Ya llegó la hora. Wow, it's already 7:30 here. We did not get to every single one of these, but you know, I hope that gives you kind of a feel for where that goes. You see, poco a poco, and you'll hear it being used in different contexts, just so that next time you hear it used in a story, you'll know what to expect. Okay? We're going to have a couple of hicieron bien. You guys did really well. This is a hard thing, and it will take a little time and for you to hear more examples and read more examples to get used to that. I'm going to send you some links for the la celebración, the little Oaxaca celebration, right? So you can get a better feel for what that festival is like. I'll send you that little exercise that worked on various become. You'll have to scroll way down the website page to get to the little drill that we did in class, but so that you can kind of test yourself later on. And bien, I think I am going to send you an extra little listening video because we've got a couple of weeks off. Yeah. Algo, ¿qué prefieren? Do you prefer an actual story or something more along a food thing?
No, story is nice.
Yeah,
story is nice.
Story, like plain old story?
Yeah.
Okay, bien. I've got a couple. I'll decide tomorrow morning which one will be the most fun. There have been a number of good ones that have come up recently. Bien. Okay. Excelente. Eso es todo. I don't want to go too far because I know some people might have things scheduled for later in the evening. Entonces, muchísimas gracias. Sus ejemplos, sí, eran Muy buenos ejemplos. Your examples were really good examples because this is a tough one to do. Bien.
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 Muchas gracias.
Excelente. Fue un placer. It was a pleasure. I hope to see you back in September. Uy, qué raro. How weird. En septiembre, ¿no? En septiembre. So yeah, we will not have class next week because they don't have anything scheduled, but I will see you and I'll send you some fun stuff to keep yourself occupied for a little bit. Sí, todo bien.
Todo bien.
Gracias.
Excelente. Muy bien, muy bien. Cuídense. Take care.
Sí, tú también.
Ay, sí.